Thanks for visiting Bella's Vistas. Please like and subscribe. Click the notification bell as well.
Well, we're driving through oil country again here. This is North Dakota, and there's lots of oil pumpers and lots of flames off in the distance.
On the way we see these oil pumpers. Now, this is in South Dakota, and these oil fields are right against the farm fields, so it looks like oil drilling and farming can go along side by side if everybody takes care of things. Some of these rigs are pretty to look at. Nice yellow against the blue sky. They just keep going, and there's big tanks for oil there. I don't know much about the oil business. There's the van alongside the road while I'm making a few photographs. Look at these things going up and down. They kind of look like giant grasshoppers or something on the prairie. Pretty interesting to watch, and they're noisy too. Now we're just burning down the road, chewing up the miles. This is quite a long drive we're on. We were just in Manitoba, now we crossed North and South Dakota, and we're headed for Theodore Roosevelt Park. Like I said, I don't know much about this park, but I can't wait to visit it and see what we can find. Should be some buffalo there. We're at the park. Bella and I are very happy to stop driving for a little while. Look how tired Bella is from all that driving. Imagine how tired I am from these rough roads.
In Theodore Roosevelt Park, it's like Badlands here. Lots of overlooks and views.
Now there's the bridge as we're coming into the park, and there's a river. This is reminding me of like so many other parks. I mean, really, with the river and the fault in front of it. There you can see the patterns in the rock. Very much reminds me of Navajo patterns. The wind is blowing the grass here. Wait a minute. Here's one of the local inhabitants of the park just walking down the road. He doesn't look that happy to see us in his park. Wow, he's a big old fella. Look at him. Now we're going to carry on a little bit further into the park. See what else we can find here. The rock formations are amazing. It's sort of like Badlands. I asked some people if they'd discovered any dinosaur bones here, but he said they hadn't really been digging here because it's a protected area and a natural resource. Here I am trying to get a couple photographs in the park. Go to any lengths. There's the rock formations. There was a geologist there that talked to me a little bit about it, about the time factor and things like that, and the different strata in the rocks. It was pretty interesting. Now we're getting towards evening, and the light's a little bit better. Some people were hoping to get a sunset there and get a nice panorama, but they didn't stick around long enough, and sure enough, it did clear up.
Well, this is the landslide in the park where we thought it might well be closed here, but it's opened up enough that we can drive through and get back on pavement again.
This road had been washed out previously, but at this point in time it's been repaired well enough so that we could drive along here.
Well, we got a little bit of a traffic jam here. This is my park, and you're visiting here, so you just never mind.
Here's the overlook, Theodore Roosevelt Park. Nice sky overhead. Now here we've got some cannonballs they're talking about. These are supposed to be preserved. You're not supposed to break them up or anything like that. I don't know how they got here or what caused them. They're one of the natural features of the park, are these cannonballs. There's a lot of driving, even in the park. It just seems like I'm just driving all the time. and, getting from one place to the other. But we're having a lot of fun in the park. I love driving, for one thing, and I got a coffee rack in the front of my van that holds 3 big travel mugs of coffee. It keeps me going till noon, usually, most days. So here we're driving along. Look at this. Now we get a little bit of light. We're getting some clean light for the sunset, and look at the rocks. Look at the strata there. I did some HDR on these rocks and some longer exposures to pull out some of the detail. It's a pretty interesting place. Lots and lots of different scenery. This is a lot like the Badlands in Alberta and Badlands in some other parks right around here. There's a whole drive through a Badland area, but I decided I'd seen enough of the Badlands, so I didn't take that drive, and I went through Grand Teton and Yellowstone parks instead. Now we're getting a delightful sunset. Nice colors coming through. If you wait and watch, you'll get what you're looking for eventually. The sun is going to set. And then 15 or 20 minutes after the sunset, that's when the magic happens. Now this fella, I was just making coffee in the morning. You can see my picnic table. My coffee maker is there. And this bison decides to come walking by, and then he goes over and checks out the van. That's a genuine bison. That's not a stuffed toy bison. That's for real. This is where he lives. They walk around out there. I met this truck driver. He had coffee with me in the morning and saw the bison. It was great. Then I went driving around, and we wound up talking to these fellas here. I don't know who told them that I'm so cheap, but they seem to be pretty sure of that. Just watch these characters. I just love the antics of them. Running around like this. If you come up a bit close to them, they'll run and hide, but after a while they just can't wait. They got to come out and see if you're still there and what you're up to. Curiosity gets the best of them. Watch this character here. Look at that. Push him down. Get back in the house. I thought it was hilarious. Just one of my favorite critters of all. The prairie dogs. They're so funny. There's a couple of them here. I'm mostly a still photographer, so I really enjoy the still pictures of them, more so than the videos, pretty much. What sheer luck to find these cactus in bloom like this. I suppose I should research everything and know exactly when to visit which place, but we don't do that. And there's lots of bison just walking around in this park. They're in really good shape too. A lot better than some of the other bison that I've seen. They've got a nice coat, good fur. They're starting to lose their winter coat a little bit. Maybe that's what I'm noticing in Yellowstone, is that they're losing more of the winter fur. They never look up. They spend all their time eating. It's amazing. I try to get them to look at me, and they just watch these guys here. It takes a lot of grass to build up a body like that, I guess. They just keep eating non-stop, wagging their tail to keep the flies off them. The flies are an ever-present problem for the bison. Here's a little bit of a herd on the hillside. Now, I've heard tell that back in the early days, Indian days, the prairies were just black with bison. This old fella's just laying in the sun, taking it easy. Now I'm back to the Badlands again. We camped out here for a few nights at the rest station. And it's a great place. They didn't have Wi-Fi, but they got excellent bathrooms, picnic tables, and the picnic tables are sheltered because there's lots of wind and rain and everything. Now we're back out looking at the rock formations. You just drive through the park. They'll give you a map and you drive through. Here's a couple people just pulled up to watch the sun go down, and it's pretty amazing. Look at that action. People used to say that's the sun drawing rain up from the ground. I don't know if it is. Beautiful sky again. Sun's coming up. Look at that. Sun rising up over the Badlands. We're here ready for fun. Now this time the bison went over and stood right by the sign like he's trying to make an ad for the park. I could not believe my good luck. I'd been talking to a fellow that I met there and telling him about the bison. Then he goes walking over right by the sign. There he is standing in the sun looking at us. I met this gentleman who'd been on the riverboats in Vietnam. He was on his way to a veterans conference about Agent Orange. Thanks for visiting Bella's Vistas. Please like and subscribe. Click the notification bell as well.